Good morning, laddies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Zuko Was the Droid from Star Wars. So, let's begin. Or, a little bit intro first, before. I am gonna use, he would basically be like the Ultron kind of droid. Ultron is from Marvel's, I know that, but so but it's kind of dark. So let's begin. And I'm also adding Zumi to this story because in this story, Zumi is the main character, and her parents designed Zuku system as yeah. Zuko's system is quite devastating. In the they have so basically she was growing up with machines. Basically, he walks over to see if Inko needs anything. And one day, she was trying to cook something, cook some bacon and eggs, and the pan just broke. As Zuko looked like that. As he says, I'll get it. As he picks up the hot frying pan, he doesn't even feel it. Well, as so he puts it right on the table, and he cleaned it all up at first. Yeah. So then he says, I'll be right back. Okay? As he goes to the store, and he knew where it was and that stuff. So he went really fast, picked it up, and he ran all the way back and opened it up, and yep. And he did fix it fresh clean. So he always has, or he always cares about Zumi. So yeah, she ends up when she was 4 years old, when they took her to the doctors. The doctor says, Zumi, you have fire manipulation. And okay. As And sometimes, like, before, or no, after that, he acts like a father to make sure that make sure she doesn't do anything wrong. Like, he sometimes does that face thing to when he gets. It's basically like a computer thing on a whole nother level. As, yeah. When even at school, he walks over, or like, if he looks over and he sees like Zumi is missing her lunch thing, he says, "I'll be right back." Heck. As Inko says, "Okay," as he takes her lunch right to the school. No. No. As Bakugo, or no, not Bakugo. Of course, he says things, is Zuko, as he says, "Be safe at school, okay? If you need anything, just call, okay?" So of course, she gives him a hug, and then he leaves, and of course, Bakugo is being like Bakugo. No, there was a massive change from. So Bakugo was trying to pick on the other students, but ends up picking on Zumi for being too over sheltered. And he ends up blowing up some of her hair thing as she texts him, Zuko, who? As Zuko got it, and like he ran right to the school, and he saw what Bakugo was doing. As he walks up to Bakugo, grab his hand, and he says, "That's not very nice." As he literally like banged him like 20 times, as he, of course, Bakugo runs off the field as Zuko looks over at Zumi, and she still has that like some burnt hair spots on her like hair. So he walks over and, "Let's go home and I'll do your hair, okay?" As he learned from different techniques. So yeah, he walks Zumi over off the playground all the way to the home. And yeah, when Inko saw what Bakugo did to her child, yeah, so he says, I'll oh, okay. Do your hair, okay? Yeah. So yeah, he was so kind to Zumi as he explains to Inko what happened. As Inko, who and Sashi really likes, because they designed him. So he's, of course, she asked, "What happened to my daughter?" As he says, "Well, this kid named Kosuke Bakugo was picking on her, and so I walked over and gave him 20 spankings. And then I walked to Zumi." So, as they know that it was Kosuke Bakugo and his friends, because he actually took care of all three of them. He was like it's like her own personal bodyguard thing. So he walks over, does her hair, and like fixes it up to make it all fleshy thing. And he also fixes her clothes too. Like stitching them up. Put them in a wash and like make sure they're fresh and clean. So now she's 15. She went to UA. Yeah. And so, yeah. As Zuku, who, because he's basically like a nano thing, he can access any computer's thing or anything from it. So he has full arsenal of like weapons and or so he can see what they're doing. Oh, and as he does not like cheating, so he says, okay, written part, and then, what's that? Of course, they saw robots thing as, let's say it was Zumi got underneath some rubble and no one's helping her. So he actually ran so fast that even they thought he was over a speed limit. So yeah. Then he helps her. And he lifts the 0-pointer robot and throws him around like a rag doll because, to be honest, in this what if, I'm making him the strongest one. So he literally lifts the 0-pointer robot up, like spins him around, throws him across the entire fake city. and he takes the debris off of him as everyone is a little bit shocked that this robot's helping them. So yeah, it's like Jarvis on steroids things. So he basically like Ochako and like the rest of them are a little bit shocked that some random machine just came out of nowhere and like helped him up or helped them. That caught the attention of Nezu, All Might, and Arrest. So yeah. Huh. So that's what happened. And so, as he says, "Are you doing okay?" As she says, "Yeah, I think it twisted her ankle." As he ends up and helped her untwist her ankle back into place and put like two metal things or rods and like taped it together. As yeah, he really knew how to bandage a person up and fix a person up. As he puts her onto his back, and starts walking to the recovery girl. And yeah, recovery girl says, "Wow, you really fixed him up, or fixed her up." As he says, "I tried my best. You do awesome at it." Recovery girl's complimenting on him. Like, when, yeah. So, then Nezu asked Zuko, if he wants to join UA to becoming a hero. As he says, "Sure. As long as if I stay near Zumi." As he looks over at Zumi, because he told them that he can protect her from any harm. Okay? As All Might says, yeah, and as All Might actually told him that if we are one happy family, okay? as he actually got a phone call from Inko, that him, as he says, "Do you have everything?" As this Inko or Zumi, he is like, "Yeah, hey, fine, stay here. I'll go check it out." As he goes home and he sees their buildings on fire, as he runs upstairs, and he's fireproof, so he can broke the door, runs in, grabs Inko and Asashi, and put them on his back and ran him out. As the fire department showed up before. And yeah, he's indestructible. So he sets them down and let the smoke get out of their bodies. And they like as they left the stove on. As yeah, as all the people couldn't believe that some random robot just came in, grabs them two citizens and ran out. And like as he showed up at there, and as Sashi, or no, Zuhuku looks over at, as he actually did do one thing. He actually grabbed the photo of Zumi, Inko, and Ashi, so that the Yashi, as Inko is sobbing because she said that we got to put the house for insurance thing. As he looks at her and says, "Don't worry, I already did that before her." So the as yeah, as Ingo has tears of joy because as she couldn't believe that robot or a system called Zuku actually paid for their house. As yeah, like put their house insurance thing so that if anything bad happens to the house, they don't have to pay for anything or no damages. Okay? So, yeah. He basically did all that. As Nezu walks up, out of nowhere, Nezu walks up and tells them that we'll already have dorms already for you. Okay? If you, instead of being on the roads. As he are happy about that. So then he starts, like, he charges up, and then he literally walks over in the middle of the night. He cleaned all that debris off. And like, he starts building a new house for them. He builds really fast. Like, he measures it and he starts doing the electrical. And yeah, he does all that stuff by himself. And let me remind you, he does everything spot on, no errors, he does everything. Like, he just does everything. Not just like being, okay, be done. He literally built everything. He was like a one-man crew. No, that fast, yeah. As he built like a metal fort that had more air vents and the cooldowns and like all that stuff. So when he comes back, he was like, okay, let's see what they think about it. As it was the next day, as they're pretty sad about it, but it sure has a security system. And the only person that's watching him doing all the work was Kirigiri. And Kirigiri told All For One about that. This robot is special. Well, that's okay. As, let me remind you, he is like not ordinary droid. He is more advanced droid. He is more like beep beep boop boop bop bop kind. And he literally can... So, yeah. As Zumi was tearing up because she thought her parents were dead at first. But then when Zuko came back and told her that they're still alive, she is happy and wants to see them. As he says, well, they had carbon monoxide things. So, in their blood. So they're pumping it out of them, and putting fresh air in. Okay? As Zumi understands, and yeah. If any of you want to, if, I don't know how that works, getting, the smoke thing from your blood, or from your air waves. So, yeah. So they were like, cool. You have a droid that does everything. Yep. And he can and basically do as okay, as she ends up forgetting her lunch again, as she says, where's my lunch, by the way? I forgot it. As they see him with setting it down near her. Here you go. As Ochako is couldn't believe that how fast he could react to it. So, yeah. So, as during now USJ time, because I'm skipping the ball throw and here's villains. Nolans, as, yeah. He basically went with Zumi, me, and her class, Ness, to because let's say Class B was with Class A, where, yeah, so they went and to USJ. They walked in. Portal opens up. As he says, looks like someone is coming through that portal over there. As the villain shows up, and then the Shiraki-sen says, or after he introduces himself, hello, guest. My name is Shiraki-sen. Nice to meet you all. And time for a little test. This Nomu over here, as he points to this black thing with red stripes, names, is designed to kill All Might. Right. But see that All Might's not here. He will kill you. As some of them are like panicking. The students are panicking. Mr. Aizawa knows what to do. 13. As he says, I'll open that door. As he had a laser thing. So he cuts the giant hole for everybody to fit through. Because it was an automatic door. Closed real fast. So then he did that. So he ends up like he took everybody out and he says, I'll be right back, as he looks at Zumi. As he runs all the way to where Mr. Aizawa was, or before, he actually did crush the warp guy's plate thing on his neck, so that he threw him, and he ends up he actually walks all the way to, and he grabs the Nomu right before hitting Mr. Aizawa, because that's how strong he is. And he says, I wasn't designed for combat. I was designed to heal people's wounds. As he ends up hitting the Nomu's brain. Like, he literally shot the brain all the way to a crisp. Yes. And it got disintegrated. And yeah. He grabs Mr. Aizawa that can't see. As he picks up Mr. Aizawa, puts him on his backpack. Okay. So I'm skipping now I'm skipping the sports festival and the camp park, and so yeah. Wait for part 2.